natural dyes toxic? Well, that's sort of a loaded question. Anything could be toxic depending on how you use it and the amount. So for example, water can be toxic to humans and plants and animals if they drink too much of it, or if it has other chemicals mixed in with it that might be dangerous. So natural dyes can be toxic, just like anything can be. But if they're used correctly, they can be very safe and they can have low impact on the environment. The reason that I wanted to talk about this is that I just got back from a wool festival and had a great time visiting different vendors and asking questions and talking about their work. And I came across a booth that had beautifully dyed yarns, and I said, wow, these are great colors. Are these naturally dyed? And the person said, no, natural dyes are toxic. And I'm sure that my response was a mixture of confusion and maybe horror because we love natural dyes, and our whole being is to share the joy of natural dyes. And if people are afraid of natural dyes, you can't really experience fear and joy at the same time. So I tried to engage in a conversation with that person to explain some of the ways that natural dyes could be used safely for the environment and safely for people, but it didn't go very well, or at least it didn't go the way that I was hoping. And so I thought maybe by making a short little video like this and explaining some of those things, we might be able to circumvent some of the myths that are out there about natural dyes. So let's go back to that original question. Are natural dyes toxic? If you use them appropriately, the answer is no. And in many ways, they are considered safer or less toxic than some types of dyes. So with natural dyes, we have to have a mordant. And we've talked about this on some of our shows before, and there's some great resources out there that we can point you to. But the mordant is some sort of a metallic salt that allows the dye molecule to bind with the protein in the fibers. And so we usually dye wool or silk or cashmere, mohair, some kind of animal product. The dye molecules need something else to help them affix permanently to the protein. And so we usually use alum salts. Those are the same ingredients that can be used in pickling. You can buy them at the grocery store. And some plants thrive on that kind of environment. And so when you have used alum on plants, or alum for natural dyeing, you can dilute it a little bit and water your azaleas, and they will love you for it. The mordant you choose is important, and alum is a pretty safe one. The other mordant that we frequently use is copper sulfate, another metallic salt that allows the dye molecules to adhere. And if you want to learn more about that, you can watch some of our monthly programs to tell you a little bit more about copper and how we use that. In very small amounts, copper can shift the colors. The same natural dye materials that we use with alum, when you apply copper, can really make a new range of colors. And it can increase the light fastness of some of the dye materials. For example, logwood is a dye material that may not last very long in direct sunlight by itself, but when you put copper with it, it'll last longer. So copper can be a very important element. It's also a natural element that occurs in our bodies, and so you don't want to have too much of it. So when you're using copper as a natural dyer, we wear gloves, and we also wear a mask until it's in solution so that we're not breathing in small particles. And we reuse our dye bath as much as we can until the copper is pretty much exhausted from the water. In large quantities, copper sulfate can be harmful to the environment. For example, it's used in pond maintenance to control algae growth. Too much copper sulfate could be harmful, so you need to be very careful and judicious about how you use it. And there are some mordants that are so harmful to people or the environment that we don't use them at all. I've never used chrome, so some of those heavier metals we don't ever use. So I just wanted to put that out there, that natural dyes are not any more toxic than any other kind of chemicals that we use in our daily lives. So I think what I want to end with is that there is so much joy and beauty in natural dyes, and the people that I know who are natural dyers and love this work are doing it carefully with the environment in mind. We all come to this work because we love the color that nature provides, and we love the excitement of learning about those colors and exploring those colors, and doing that safely and responsibly is important to all of us. So you don't have to be afraid of natural dyes. We hope that this message helps. We'd like to hear what other questions you might have about natural dyes and how we can help bring more joy and understanding about using natural dyes or working with natural dyed yarn and fiber. Thanks. Bye.